my name's Donna, and I'm an alcoholic. Oh, I hear brethren out there. Not so anonymous anymore, are ya? But I have been clean and sober for 25 years. Thanks, and I am hardcore sober too. I'm not like Colorado sober, where you still smoke pot and do some mushrooms on the side. Nope, I'm the real deal, OG sober. Yeah, I took a Benadryl a few days ago and I had to call my sponsor. Hey, that thing jacked me up for like 6 hours. That's why they give it to kids on planes, I guess. But anyways, I know I don't look like an addict either. Yeah, I look like Velma quit solving mysteries, got a lesbian haircut, and went into HR. Chickies, your timesheet is due. No, but, and actually I learned a pretty cool word recently, polyaddicted. Y'all know this one, polyaddicted? So what it means is that you are like into everything. You never met a drug you didn't like. Got it all going. All flavors of the rainbow are on my mirror, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, I think it's actually a little bit easier to get sober these days with all these labels to help you figure out what you are. So technically, I'm a polyaddicted, polyamorous, pansexual, non-binary, bipolar, unique individual who's prioritizing my self-care. Yeah, back in the day, I was just a crazy drunk slut. Yeah, and I came from a weird family too. They weren't even alcoholics or addicts. I found it on my own. But hey, let's be honest, I was a feral Gen X. It doesn't mean I was raised right. But my parents had the attitude that we would rather have you experiment with alcohol at home than out on the street. Okay, legit. Still weird that your 12-year-old knows how to make a tequila sunrise. Hey, my parents didn't have any idea about what they were doing. They were chock full of bad advice. My dad once told me, everybody is responsible for their own orgasm. Yeah, that's also weird advice to give to a 13-year-old, don't you think? But I think I know why my mom cheated. Get with it, Dad. So anyways, I was a teen mom. Because of course I was looking for my orgasms. But even then, way before that, I knew I was going to get in trouble with experimenting because I started making my own mixed drinks, but I didn't always follow the recipe book. Y'all know what a hot buttered rum is? Yeah, Christmas drink? Not the way I make it. No, to a 13-year-old, a hot buttered rum is you take half a pint of rum, you put it in a beer stein, you put it in the microwave, you take it out, you put in a quarter cup of butter, and if it tastes like ass, keep putting in more butter. And then you sit back and you watch the soft porn on Cinemax at 3 a.m. and wait for the alcohol poisoning to kick in. Yeah, so obviously bad choices were made. But after I was married and was, home with my kids as a teen mom, I had to continue the experimentation. So I didn't have as many fancy ingredients. So there was like the Jim Jones special. It's gin and Kool-Aid. Great to take to the park. Just make sure the kids don't get the wrong sippy cup. And then when I started to get into drugs, the experiments got even more interesting. You ever had a Colombian Irish coffee? Yeah, it's Bailey's coffee and cocaine. Oh, but I think my absolute favorite, especially when I got a job in HR, was a toxic Mountain Dew. Yeah, that is where you got a 20-ounce Mountain Dew, and you dump a shitload of meth into it, and then you go to work. I tell you, everybody's payroll was so damn accurate. But here's the thing, when you are polyaddicted, you have to, let me give you some life tips. You gotta be careful how you mix it and where. So, for example, if you've been up for like 48 hours tweaking on cocaine and you need to calm down, but you don't have any booze and you smoked all your weed, don't take LSD. Especially if you're going to a kid's birthday party. Yeah, those Pokemon were jumping right the fuck off that cake. And I'm like, oh, good thing I got all these Pokeballs here. Next thing I know, I'm getting tapped on the shoulder. Ma'am, will you get out of the ball pit and quit throwing things at Chuck E. Cheese? I'm like, oh, so I got banned. It's not all bad. Yeah, but you also make some really weird life choices when you're polyaddicted like that. So I never prostituted myself, but I did consider it. It's like, there's no food in the house, and there's no gas in the car, and I do enjoy sucking cock. And they say if you do what you love, it's like you never work a day in your life. How bad could this be? But no, I didn't do it. But I did do this. I used to be the morning show producer for KBPI in Denver. Legit. And I did quit that job to go live my second dream. And that was to become a club DJ. Well, it was just part-time. At a strip club. Day shift. In Boulder. Yeah, trust me, something should not smell like patchouli. No, he gets it, he's like, I think I've had some of that. Yeah, and hey, I also learned this. Did you know that organic, free-range, gluten-free pussy is a thing? Because they won't eat it in Boulder unless it is. You're gonna pay a little bit more, but it is worth it. No, but that's actually where I was working when I got sober. And let me just take you a little bit down this trip. So, at the time, I was living in my mom's basement with my new husband, and given over custody of my kids, and I just didn't have a whole lot going on. I had the strippers, and I had my drugs, and that was pretty much it. And it was so bad that my husband Mike and I actually had a suicide pact. And it wasn't one of those things where he was going to shoot me and then kill himself. It was like, no, we had to do it together. Because we could not imagine being on the world without each other. And then that night, it was October 1999, we actually got into a fight, which was really rare for us. So we go to bed about 3 a.m., I creep out, and I'm gonna go kill myself. I'm gonna throw myself off a bridge. That was across the street from my mom's house, and it was only like 10 feet high. Yeah, I was gonna have to stick the landing just right. But Mike came out, and he's like really upset, not because I'm killing myself, but because I'm doing it without him. And so we're like running around the middle of the street, and of course somebody calls the cops, because there's half-naked people running around the street in the middle of the night. And the cops would have never caught us, except I fell in a thorn bush across the street from my mom's house. So the cops pick us up, and they're like, what's going on? And we're like, well, we're trying to kill ourselves. Will you please leave so we can do this? You can't really say that to cops. If you do, they have to do something about it. So they're like, all right, let's go to the hospital. And the doctors are like, well, what's up with you? And I go, clearly I am crazy. I'm trying to kill myself. And they go, well, we think because of the amount of alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, and meth in your system, you might have a problem with drugs and alcohol. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. Because in my mind, it's the only thing keeping me alive. Never mind that from January through October of 1999, I had 5 suicide attempts, most of them while I was on something. It's not doing a great job. So they send me off to the rehab, a 72-hour spin dry, and they send Mike over to the psych unit. And most of the time I'm telling the doctors where they can stick it, right? Because I am not buying this crap. And then they take us to an AA meeting. And there was this little old lady there, and everything she had done, I had done, or I would have done in a heartbeat. And it hit me like lightning in that moment that I was an alcoholic, and more important, I knew I didn't want to drink anymore. So I take that silver chip at the end of the meeting, and they're getting walked back over to our locked unit, and I'm like, how the hell am I going to explain this to Mike? Because he's not getting the same kind of services. I get on the phone with him, and the first thing Mike says is, I don't want to drink anymore. It was like 2 miracles in one night. And, thank you. Thanks. Hey, all I did was pay attention and listen to the advice. But I had to go back to the strip club after that, you know, once we got out, because, hey, boobs need to be seen, y'all. He gets it. Mr. Patchouli gets it. You know, it's an important life thing. Without that, our society collapses, just telling you. But I get there, and the strippers are like, where were you, Donna? You missed some shifts. Where were you? And I'm like, you're not going to believe this. I was in rehab. Turns out I'm an alcoholic. And all the strippers go, gee, Donna, we could have told you that. So, second life tip, if like 10 strippers tell you that you're an alcoholic, you probably have a problem, and I do have pamphlets in my car. So, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the show. I'm Donna Shannon.